This portion of New Day Northwest is sponsored by Premera Blue Cross.
We know that going to the theater is one of the most fun live entertainment experiences out there, but if you have sensory issues, it can be overwhelming and it might be something that you even have to give up. Here to explain how they are trying to make theater accessible to all of us is Seattle Theater Group's Marisol Sanchez Best and Dr. Daniela Ferdico from Sensory Access. Welcome to the show, both of you.
Thank you for having us.
So I'm excited to hear about the Seattle Theater Group is working with local nonprofit Sensory Access, and you're partnering to achieve what?
We are trying to make welcoming experiences for people that have different neurodiverse needs to come to the theater and enjoy a live experience.
So if people can't quite imagine, well, what is it that would make people sensory challenged in some way? Explain to us the population we're talking about, the community.
Absolutely. There's quite a few groups of neurodiverse individuals that have sensory processing difficulties. That means they process sensory information differently. We're talking about individuals that are autistic, people with Down syndrome, some individuals that just have sensory processing difficulties. And so for them going to the theater, some of the things that are difficult are loud and sudden unexpected noises, you know, maybe high pitch or low pitch, bright lights in their face that they weren't expecting, and sometimes even just the expectancy of what happens in a theater. The expectancy that you sit there quietly, you listen to what's happening, you don't sing, you don't talk. Some of those things are just really difficult, especially if you then have a sensory reaction to something that happens in the show and you just feel like you need to exit, but you can't, right? So those are some of the things that we work with together to make it possible for anyone to come in and enjoy a show.
It's such a clever idea, and because you're dealing with so many different kinds of symptoms or responses, how do you create a sensory-friendly environment?
There has to be a variety of things. We have to have show buy-in, so there's something that's happening with the production. The production has to be aware that there will be people in the audience that perhaps will react louder or will move around the space, so that's what's happening on stage. In our audience, in the theater, we have different therapists, and that's where Sensory Access comes in, where we are having them just looking at the audience, engaging if they need assistance.
Interesting.
And then what's happening in the lobby, where we have different sensory areas that are places where audience members can go to either take a break or engage in some activity if they can't stay in the theater. So there's various
with the understanding that that's cool and
everything's accepted.
No judgment around
Everybody
there. Everybody
feels welcome and represented during that time.
That's so great. Does the show itself change in any way?
Yes. So it depends on what production. You know, this is a production that's already gone through a sensory-friendly production, so they've already altered some of the things like the sounds and some of the bright lights and so forth. Sometimes when a production hasn't done that, we go in and we make suggestions on what, you know, could be edited that might make it a little bit more sensory-friendly.
Give me more examples of that, what you might ask somebody to do.
So for example, if a show has a lot of loud noises, we will recommend a decibel level that might be a little bit more sensory-friendly. If there's sudden sounds like, you know, lightning and thunder, the lightning part of the bright flash is going to be really harsh. That loud booming sound of thunder, something maybe really high-pitched, might be really difficult. So to try to take some of those moments out or mute them a little bit. Another way to come at it is just to let individuals know what to expect. So one of the things we do at Sensory Access is we go through a show, we preview it, and we write down all the possible sensory moments, scene by scene, and we give that to audience members.
Which can really help, right? Because then you're not startled. I mean, I get startled sometimes when it's loud noises of thunder or whatever that you're not expecting, and I don't have sensory issues, but I can empathize with what that must feel like if you really are sensitive to this.
Exactly.
How have you found various theater groups or you know, the broader world gaining some better ability to cope with this and change things and welcome people?
We're very fortunate with the organizations that we typically work with, which is Sensory Access, which provides a lot of knowledge and people are very accepting. And then Disney Theatrical Group, which is the organization that we also partner up with when they bring their shows, they're very receptive. So they know who we're working with, what we need, and everyone's very open and welcoming, and they want this to be a beautiful experience because everybody deserves this.
Yeah,
so.
that makes me very happy to hear that. And what do you see in terms of the people who have sensory issues when they are able to enjoy some things that are new in their life that maybe they haven't been able to enjoy before? Tell me about all the benefits and what you see then.
It's incredible. I mean, you know, you as a parent, I'm a parent of an autistic individual as well, and so I come at it from as a parent, you know, point of view as well. And recommend all the clients that I work with, a lot of the experience that I hear about and have experienced myself is that you try to do something new. You go to a theater show, you try to go to a Seahawks game, and halfway through it's just too much and you have to leave. And so, but you know, your child is missing out on that experience, the sibling's missing out on that experience, you've spent all this money, and you feel like you've let your child down. So here's a way where you can come and you can experience a Broadway musical along with all these other people, and no one judges you. There's people standing up in the middle of the show singing, and it's okay. There's people going out and kind of resetting their sensory system for 10 minutes and coming back in, and it's okay. And the feedback we got when we did it last year with The Lion King, parents were crying. And they came back saying, I've never been able to do this. My child's never had this experience before. It's so powerful.
It really is. We've had parents that have never been to the theater. I mean, I remember a parent said she was 17 years without going to the theater as a family. And this is what we wanted to make sure that we were making this accessible for those families.
And leaving halfway through makes you feel like you failed at something, and then having this makes you feel like your world just got a little bigger. You're working with Frozen, which I'm totally in favor of. What are you doing with Frozen?
Frozen, we're doing the same thing that we did with Lion King last year. It means for us to do sensory areas, working with therapists outside, alerting the cast. This is also going to be Frozen's first sensory performance on tour.
That is so great.
Outside of New York City. So,
Congratulations.
hey, Seattle. So I'm just so excited about that. So it's also letting the company know what to expect, all of the actors. So it's a lot of preparation that's going to happen, but everything that they expected with Lion King is going to be the same expectation, and even more, because now we know what we're doing, truly know what we're doing. We've experienced it once, so now we both can go in and say, man, we're tackling this.
Congratulations. I mean, it's just a wonderful achievement. It's going to change life for a lot of people. I appreciate you both being here. Thanks.
Thank you.
To learn more about this program, please visit the website on your screen, and be sure to visit the links to more resources on New Day's website. This is something very much worth exploring. When we come back, a customizable program that can help you lose weight and boost your overall wellness. We'll be right back.